Welcome to ADCO Aviation. On the 28th video, we discussed installing the firewall and starting the crimping of the cable crimps for my Legal Eagle XL. Before I can finish the discussion of rigging the folding tail, I needed to go ahead and paint the tail feathers. So today, I want to discuss the method I chose to paint my XL. I know most Legal Eagles are using latex paints, and that makes sense. Why would we spend more on the paint than we spent building the airplane? Besides that, from what I could find, it seems the paint will probably outlast the fabric anyways. I searched the web for info on how this procedure is done, and there's just simply not much out there. Malcolm Morrison had a few YouTube videos and used to have a website which is now brought down. He had a couple of videos on the EAA site, and I did reach out to him with a question or two. He has done great strides at a very professional, polished look if that's what you were looking for. There was also a man that painted his flybaby, a military scheme. Oh, and by the way, he had a 10-year follow-up. Spoiler alert, still flying and doing well. First, let's talk about the paint I chose. My black and white are both Glidden pre-mixed paints. The red I took from the spray can of my Troy-built red I used on the fuselage to the local hardware store, and they color matched it for me. All 3 gallons supposedly don't need a primer, or should I say it's built in. I took each of the paints and put 15 fluid ounces in an old salsa jar and topped it off with 5 ounces of filtered water. Basically, I added 3 parts of paint to 1 part water. No Floetrol, no windshield washer fluid, just paint and water. With the jar, it made mixing easy. Just stir, then put the lid on tight and shake, roll, shake, flip, shake. Well, you get the idea. If you've been following along, you know I use the Stewart system method of covering, and I used the watered down 3M Fast Bond to waterproof the fabric. It is also water based, but I was concerned that the paint wouldn't stick to it. No problems to report as of yet. I first took a damp rag and rinsed the fabric to clean the surfaces. Up front on the nose, I taped off the section I wanted to paint white and began the painting process. Before I begin, I want to make it clear I am not a painter. In fact, I really hate to paint, which is a shame, because you will need to paint your plane at least 6 times. You heard me right. These layers are thin, which, by the way, here in Texas, on a 90 to 100 degree day, these will dry in just a few minutes. I guess in the aviation world, 1 cross coat is actually 2 paint layers. 1 north and south, let's say, and the second layer is east and west. That's 1 cross coat layer of paint. Well, to this country boy, that's me painting my plane parts 2 times. So however you want to look at it, every other time you paint, just swap directions of your strokes. With that being said, the first takes the longest, and then each layer thereafter is faster and faster. You'll really want, especially those first couple of layers, to get the paint down into the weave of the fabric. This will make the physical bond needed for your paint job to adhere well. Okay, now let's discuss the how. I used a 2-inch brush to paint each coat and then followed up with dry rolling with a 4-inch foam roller. This did several things. Especially on the first layer or 2, it pressed the paint into the fabric weave, but also it took out the brush strokes and evened out the layer of paint. By the way, did I mention just how thin these layers are? There were several times throughout the process I kept thinking, oh no, what have I done? and maybe when you see the finished product, you'll say, what a horrible paint job. But that's okay. You can do better on your plane, and we'll both enjoy flying together someday. Since the front section and my vertical tail and rudder are supposed to be white, I'd paint one layer on all the pieces, and by the time I was done, the front would be dry and I'd start all over again. Here on the nose, my plan is to put a decal many of you have seen before, my Legal Eagle cross. Speaking of cross, I made templates of all 3 cross sizes. I might make a separate video of just how to make the iron cross if y'all would like that. But back to the tail feathers. I painted one cross coat in white and then used the template. I traced out the iron cross and taped it off. For the cross area, I finished off another 2 cross coats of black and peeled the masking tape off once dry. After several days, I used frog tape and masked off the inside of the cross and finished the rest of the 2 cross coats of white. I've heard people say if you get too fancy with your paint, you'll add too much weight. Well, this way I have 6 layers or 3 cross coat layers on the entire tail. I know some would just paint the base color and then add decals or more layers on top. And yes, that would add extra weight, I suppose. I will weigh my pieces once they're completely dry and will update you on the before and after weights soon. I hope this helps if you decide to use latex on your bird. Again, I'd like to remind you, I am not a painter, and I'm not telling you how you should build your plane. I'm just letting you ride along to what I have chose to do. From what many have said, latex remains flexible, offers great UV protection for our fabric, and is tintable so you can choose any color you want. One word about making your color choice. Remember, we will be slowly poking holes in the sky, sharing it with other aircraft. We want the other pilots to spot us and avoid us. So my advice is, make it loud and make it be seen. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video and hopefully found some of the info helpful for your build. And if you're on the fence about starting a Legal Eagle build, hopefully I've shown you just how easy it can be. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe to my YouTube, Odyssey, or Rumble channel. Thank you, and be safe.